Hey, welcome back to another edition of Open Shutter, and we are live from Salt Lake City in Utah with cinematographer Bianca Cline. Bianca, thanks so much for jumping on this thing. Really appreciate
Hi,
it.
Paul. Thanks for having me.
That's my cheesy sound effect just for you. Yeah, thanks again for taking the time. I mean, we were just talking offline about kind of like what we wanted to focus on. I mean, there's so many different tangents because you're in the industry. So I figured, first of all, maybe for people watching this, like, what do you want people to like know about you, kind of thing?
I mean, there's probably a ton. I'm a cinematographer. I've been doing it for 25 years.
Right.
I'm from Los Angeles originally, but I've lived in a lot of places. Yeah, I do movies. I do commercial. I did exclusively commercials for a good 10 years and then moved back into movies and yeah, I love it.
Is it hard to change between movies and commercials?
Yeah, it is. Like, I mean, I started out doing movies, and a lot of them were low budget films, and I found myself saying yes to movies that I wasn't really excited about.
Right.
And I think that films are so difficult to make, like feature films.
Yeah.
That it's just a ton of hours week after week. And if you're not excited about the script, I just found it wasn't, I mean, it's worthwhile for me to do any movie that I care about. I'm like, I'll do anything and I'll go to any lengths and work any number of hours and work as hard as possible.
Yeah.
But when it's a script that's just terrible and it's boring, it's like, well, I figured I might as well be doing commercials because they pay better and are shorter term. And then at the same time that I was thinking that, I had 3 kids. And so it's like, well, a shorter term jobs, I mean, commercials are a week to 2 weeks usually for a cinematographer. And it's like, well, that's a lot easier than going away for months to do a movie.
Right.
So when my kids were young, I exclusively did commercials. And it also let me be more selective about which movies I wanted to say yes to. Like I would still read scripts, but it's like, yeah, not really excited about this script. And I could wait. And, I don't know. It's always a debate about with cinematographers, filmmakers in general of like, well, is it better to keep doing movies and rather than, or just wait for the really good ones, because sometimes a bad one can hurt you.
I guess so.
Really bad. It's like, oh, she does garbage work or mediocre work or whatever. And like,
is that because you don't really care enough to make it great?
No, there's just so many things against you, especially as a cinematographer. You're not quite in control of everything.
Yeah.
And so if the script is bad, if the director doesn't have good taste, if they're kind of pushing towards mediocrity, it's like, I'm like, well, I can't really change the direction of that train. And so like I really, I mean, I think that script is king. It's like you really need a great script, but also I find you need a really great director too. It's like no matter how good the script is, a really amateur or bad director can make that script bad. So it's like I need to find.
You have that experience.
You need to be connected to those. Yeah, to both of those things.
Interesting.
But it is difficult to do. It's difficult to do both because the commercial industry is fickle in a way where it moves so fast. It's like, oh, we're doing a commercial in January and then, the same director is doing another one in March. And it's like, if you're not available, then they may move on. They have to move on. They have to hire someone else. And then it's like, oh, they might get into a relationship with them and forget about you if you're gone for, 3-4 months.
Yeah. So I'm on your website now under the commercial stuff. And like, what makes a good cinematographer in your opinion?
It's this is a long question, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious because
I think that, we're in an interesting time, especially in the last 10 years,
Yeah,
where, for the longest time, film and commercials were seen in a very specific and more, I want to say regulated, but that's not quite the right word. It's like a more, you used to make movies and then it's like it's going to the theater and then they're going to do a release and everybody's trying to make it high quality and good. And,
yeah,
now it's become a little bit different. And with commercials, it's, I think that Instagram has had a big effect on the way that commercials look. That like
interesting.
people quite often, and it's a weird feedback loop that I've talked to a lot of cinematographers about, where it's like
Yeah.
people are doing a commercial and they're trying to make it look amazing for Instagram.
Mm.
And I find often I've been on Instagram, I see another cinematographer and I see these stills, this tiny on my phone, and I'm
Yeah.
looking at it and I go, wow, like that's amazing. That's going to be so good. And then I'll see the finished commercial and I'm like, yeah, that was kind of garbage. And so it's kind of it's like, well, what was the end result? In some ways it's like the Instagram is the thing that's like where you're promoting yourself. But at the
Yeah.
same time, it's like if the finished product isn't great, and don't get me wrong, I mean, lots of people do both. It's like amazing stills and their commercials actually are really amazing. But it's kind of a thing where it's like, oh, you want to have something really, really dynamic, bright colors, super contrasty, etc.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about a lot, just like an image that's like really grabs your eye as you're scrolling through Instagram. But it doesn't necessarily translate to the right look for the product that
Yeah.
you're doing.
Yeah.
And
Interesting. Yeah.
we
Also,
use
like,
that less in movies, but
yeah, it's like social media is so busy. Like, it's such a busy place. Like, it's hard to get someone's attention because people are just like mindlessly scrolling. So I imagine it's hard to get people's attention. To
uh-huh.
actually stop the scroll. Like, it's such a mind hack for people.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like
Yeah, I
we
don't
don't
like
know
it.
what we're looking at sometimes.
No
Okay.
one's slowing down, no one's thinking about things pensively or trying to,
Yeah.
it's just you're ready to scroll to the next thing.
Yeah.
It's not catching your attention in the first 3 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And
guess
it's
maybe that's what makes a good cinematographer, DP, director, editor. Like, you're able to get that person's attention. You're able to make people think because, like, I don't know, like, when's the last time you watched like a social media reel and you actually thought about it? Like, you just kind of kept going and kept going. It's like, I don't remember what I was watching, you know?
yeah. Yeah, we're in a weird mind-numbing, just very short attention span,
Yeah.
attention grabbing kind of a thing, and I personally think it's awful, but I'm also, a Gen X person,
Right.
so I'm like, please go back to the time where we had a few minutes to think.
Sure. Yeah. It's interesting, right? But again, that's what it goes down to. Like, that's why you need to believe in the stuff that you're doing, because then it's going
Yeah,
to come across, I feel, more so because you believe in
yeah,
it. And, it's not forced. It's not fake.
yeah. I try to do that much more with my movies, like
Yeah.
only take on projects that really mean something to
Mm,
me and hopefully mean something to society.
mm,
Like, I'm not super interested in entertainment.
mhm.
Not that entertainment is evil. It's just I think I'd rather have something that make movies that say something about
Yeah,
human condition or society or societal problems, and
yeah,
hopefully I'm
yeah,
able to do that.
yeah. I think you have. I mean, there's some really cool stuff here. Well, like what film are you most proud of so far?
Um, it's funny. My daughter asked me that last night. Um,
Okay,
I think that it's different aspects of different films that I'm most proud of.
okay.
I think that my latest film, Truth and Treason, is it's the most politically relevant. It's
Mm,
about a boy. It's a true story of a boy named Helmut Humner that was living in Hamburg, Germany during World War II, and he was writing his own anti-propaganda and spreading it,
mhm,
because people in Germany were extremely isolated, information-wise,
mhm,
and didn't know lots of things that were happening, and nobody was really questioning Hitler and what he was doing. And so he was, distributing these leaflets at night, trying to let people know what was going on. And um, it's really, it's, it's funny. So the director and I worked on a documentary 20 years ago. We interviewed
oh, yeah,
one of this boy's friends that was helping him and had
wow,
survived.
oh,
And he, at the time it was just like, wow, that's an incredible story. Like, it's amazing that he did that. And then the director wrote a script, and it took him, 15 years more to try and get the script,
yeah,
get funding and get it going. And it was, by the time I read the script in 2023,
mhm,
I was like, oh, this feels eerily familiar.
mm,
And it's like, history had come back around, or, it felt exactly like the moment that we're living in.
yeah, wild, hey?
Yeah, it's a really fantastic film.
Nice. And where can people see it? Like, is it streaming somewhere?
Yeah, it's on Apple Plus right now.
Okay,
Um,
cool.
it's and it's really interesting. So the director wrote the script as a 110-page feature film.
Yeah,
And then the distributor, before we filmed, was like, well, what do you think about a limited series? Like, we think we could market that better. We could get you the funding. And so he wrote, he added 60 pages and made it 70. And we ended up, we had like a 180-page script that
yeah,
was going to be 4 episodes.
mm,
And so we went to go film it, and we were filming, and, I don't know, most of the way through, the distributors came over to, we were filming in Lithuania. They came to Lithuania, and they were like, saw what we were doing, and they were like, this is way too good for to just go to streaming. We need to do a theatrical release.
mm,
So it was in theaters October till, I don't know. Well, I think it's still in theaters in some countries, but
cool.
it's yeah, it was really great to do that. But then when it's on streaming, like on Apple Plus, you can watch it as a 4-part limited series.
Oh, interesting.
So
So it's
I think it
stream
worked out really well.
so what do you think is better? Is it better just as is the movie, or is it better in the series? Like, what's
I really like the
for you?
movie because it's really solid. Just a really solid 2-hour
Yeah,
story.
yeah, yeah.
But like when you watch the series, it's really good because it's not like we just cut out the scenes that weren't good. It's just
Mm,
there was some like subplots and more development with different characters that were more ancillary.
yeah, yeah,
It's really good. I think it's good all the way through.
yeah.
So
That's cool, eh? That's interesting. That's interesting.
yeah,
So
I hope
how's
it
like how's
catches on music form.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So how's the experience working with streamers in your experience?
Um, I've had good experiences.
Yeah,
Um, yeah. I mean, I don't really want to like. I mean, I'm not like apt to um badmouth anybody in
sure.
particular, but I mean,
No,
I was involved with one documentary that got taken away by a streamer who had come in
yeah.
to, you know, produce the film as well. And it's like they completely changed it against the director's
Mm,
will. And it was like that was pretty
mm,
bad. But you know, Murder Among the Mormons was just, produced and distributed by Netflix, and I thought it was really great. I think A24 was super awesome. Like, I don't know, I've had
Yeah,
really great, they're not a streamer, but
yeah, yeah,
this production company. I thought they were really amazing. And I don't know, it
yeah.
was
It's
really,
good though. It's good that they like support, instead of trying to like boss people around.
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's really nice because they're, I mean, they are the ones who can champion you.
Yeah,
Um, they're like, we love this film, and so we're gonna make sure everybody possible sees it.
yeah, yeah,
Um, so it's really great. I don't know. I've had really good experiences because I've been lucky to have a lot of theatrical releases, which then and then like later on streaming, and I think it's
yeah.
yeah.
Just, just,
But I
just
think I've
and
been fortunate because I've heard harsher stories.
yeah, it's interesting, right? Because like everybody wants to have their stuff on a streamer, but people that are starting out may not know what actually goes on behind the curtain, kind of thing, right? So because
Yeah,
there's a lot of people here in Toronto that want to make documentaries and they want to do all these things and they want to get their stuff up on Netflix, but some people aren't really aware of what actually goes on sometimes.
yeah. I mean, it's hard to say that. Like, I mean, there are complaints, but often, I mean, often those complaints are things that we used to complain about with more studios with the traditional release
Yeah,
system. Where it's like they want control, they want to change the title or cut the film down, and they're not necessarily always wrong. It's just maybe a disagreement.
yeah, yeah,
I do think that they are shooting themselves in the foot with their new business models
yeah.
of not doing a longer theatrical release, not
Mm-hmm.
pushing theatrical,
Mm-hmm.
and then either releasing streaming same day or
Yeah, what's up with
releasing
that?
not or releasing it a few weeks later too. It's like everybody knows, like when a movie comes out, oh, if I don't see it in the theater, I'll catch it, in a few weeks
Yeah,
on a streaming platform. And it's like,
right.
yeah, but it used to be you would do a theatrical release and then the movie wasn't going to come out for, I mean, 6 months later they would do
Yeah,
a VHS and then
yeah. They're
DVD,
coming to
Blu-ray
DVD. Yeah,
release, and then they would do eventually, when streaming came out, I was like, oh, eventually it'll stream in the way that it used to be on TV. It's like, oh,
yeah,
2 years,
yeah,
3 years later, it'll be on TV.
yeah,
And
yeah,
they've really like I think they're hurting them their own distribution model because it
yeah,
used to be people would go and pay in the theater because if you didn't go see it, this month, it's going to be 6-8 months before you get to see it at home.
yeah, yeah. It's more of a shared experience when you go to the theater, also,
Yeah.
versus on your couch at home where you can just pause the movie and go to the washroom, go to the kitchen, come back like 10 minutes later. Like you sort of lose like the impact of the movie if you step away from it, if you're on your phone or whatever. Like the movie theater has like has become such a sacred place because you're there to watch the movie and that's it. Like no phone, no nothing. You're just there to watch the movie with other
Yeah.
people, and that has obviously after the pandemic, obviously, but I mean people's mindsets to be like, oh, I'll be on streaming next week or I'll catch it when it's on Netflix. That's just people's
Yeah.
mindset these days, which is a shame, right?
This may sound a bit magnanimous, but like I think that our society in general is starting to lose a lot of ritual. Like we
Yeah.
used to have a lot more formality, and since we realized religion wasn't really fulfilling and doing everything we needed,
Mm-hmm.
and we've kind of turned to a lot of things that are not doing it for us, and there's not a lot of ritualized events in
Yeah.
our life. And
Yeah.
I think that going to the movies for me is definitely a religious experience. Like,
Yeah.
and theaters used to be, and still to an extent are built kind of like temples. It's like you
Mm-hmm.
go and it's got stadium seating, and there's you
Yeah.
have you go do all these things before you go see it. It's like you're making an event of it. And
Exactly.
it's one of the few
Exactly.
things that we as humans still um, go out and do publicly, do with other people.
Yeah.
It's like there's so many less social gatherings, and that we don't go to dance halls anymore, and we don't
Right.
get
Yeah.
together. big groups. And this one, it's like you go and you buy your ticket and you make sure you go to the restroom, and then you get your, your drink and your popcorn, and you sit down, and
Mhm.
you're sharing this experience with 300 other strangers.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. You can't, it's not interrupted. It's the ideal or close to ideal situation. It's dark and they've got the right lights, and, everyone knows you're supposed to be quiet, and,
Yeah.
unless it's appropriate, unless you're going to cheer or
Yeah.
laugh or,
Yeah.
it's
Exactly.
something, I think there's a lot being lost by watching it on your sofa at home.
Yeah, and the fact that they put it on streaming the same day as the theater is like crazy to me. Like you're just giving the people incentive not to go out.
Yeah, I know.
So it's crazy to me, but what do I know? But
Let's go to the theater.
yeah, and also like everyone watching the movie in the theater is going to have a different take usually. Like not everyone's going to have the same perspective as the other person. So it's kind of
I think the discussions after I watch a movie are
yeah,
so great. It's like,
yeah,
oh, I thought this, and did you love that part? No, I hated this. Why was the ending like that? And
right.
it's like those discussions you also don't get at home.
Yeah, well, exactly. You just turn to the next thing on the streaming thing. What's
Yeah,
up, what's
what's
up
next?
next? Like, there's no room for discussion, right? And that's also how you know it's a good film is when you actually talk about it after.
Yeah,
Because if no one
totally.
talks about it, then I guess it wasn't that good. If no one's going to talk about it, so I guess we're the fact that people
Yeah.
talk about things.
Well, even when a movie's really bad, I mean, we'll talk about
Yeah, you
why it
still
was
talk. Yeah, yeah, but yeah, it's hard to find like really good movies because everyone you go to the movie theater, it's all like Marvel and Avengers and all these things. Like, aren't people bored of this stuff? Like, I know it makes money, but you know, like I'm bored of it
yeah.
personally. But
I know, yeah, going to the movies used to be more of an event even for adults, like, oh, you're 42 and you've got 4 kids, and it's
yeah,
still like, oh, we've got to do date night. We're going out to the movie, and there's the
yeah,
new, Tom Cruise adult movie, not, triple X,
yeah,
but a movie
yeah,
made for adults to go and have an adult themed film, and not, now it's all, I don't know. I went and saw Project Hail Mary
I
twice.
hear that's very good.
Loved it. Fantastic film.
Yeah,
Really had, a lot of heart, really well done. But what was crazy was before the film, it was just like movie after movie that looked like, to me, like a cartoon. I know
yeah,
they were live action, but it was just like all these like sci-fi films that were mostly CG,
right.
geared towards 14-year-olds. And I'm like, I don't
Hmm.
see much interest you didn't pique my interest with any of these films.
None of it. Yeah, yeah. I hear Project Hail Mary is very good though. That's why I keep hearing these. Also, great timing with like the spaceship up in space Artemis. Like was that timing on everyone's part? Like, jeez,
I don't know.
talk about marketing. You can't get better marketing than that,
I know.
right? Like
Artemis
you might as
feels
well
like
just find.
it's this little bit of hope in the United States.
Well, the whole Artemis mission is like like a hope for like all of mankind or all of like humankind these days, right? Because there's just so much like bad
Amazing.
stuff out in the news. Like at least it gives people something to like inspire, be inspired by, and be united by. It just has that feel to it instead of being constantly depressed by the news kind of thing. So
Yeah,
you know,
I know. I know. Yeah, it made me surprisingly really happy.
yeah, I think it made everyone happy. So I'm surprised like Ryan Gosling didn't go up in the spaceship himself. That would have been really good marketing. Like imagine if you put Ryan Gosling up. It's like, oh, by the way, I'm here. Like I'm actually an astronaut, and he's from Canada. So there you go.
Yeah, come on,
He's a kid,
Canadian.
right? Like, but yeah, no, we've kind of like lost that, like you said, ritual kind of thing where people want to have these like shared experiences. It could be like movies, could be could be anything else. Like I don't know. It's like I'm not sure what the scene is in like Salt Lake, but like are there like meetup groups in Salt Lake? Are there like things off like various platforms to meet up on to do things like Eventbrite? Like we have Eventbrite here in Toronto. I'm not sure what there is down there, but meetup.com or something, to do things with.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I have a weird relationship with Utah because I don't really work here. I travel. all the
Yeah.
time. So I'm in LA a lot of the time. I go everywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
And when I'm here in Utah, I try to spend all my time with my kids.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
so I don't really have like a social life here. More of my social life's in LA.
LA. Yeah.
Um, so I don't know. Yeah, I've lived here for a long
Yeah.
time. I don't really know.
Yeah. I
I
hear
don't
it's
know
nice
the
down there.
world here.
Yeah, I hear it's nice. I haven't been to Salt Lake, but I hear it's good.
Beautiful. It's really
Yeah.
beautiful.
A lot of nature.
Beautiful state. Tons. Yeah. Very.
Sundance too. I'm sure you've been to Sundance.
I've been like 20 times and
Yeah, exactly.
I'm very sad that they're gone.
Yeah, it's a shame though, eh? Like
Yeah.
is it gonna come back? You think?
I doubt it.
Really?
I don't know unless it fails spectacularly in Colorado, but I don't think that it will. I don't know.
I'm
It's a really hard time for festivals too.
yeah.
They're not.
Like generally speaking, it's hard across the
Yeah,
board.
I think in general, but I think, well, I mean, I think that there's just a lot less interest right now in indie films, and not just because they're indie, but because they're generally smaller, a little bit more experimental or, fringe kind of films, which is
Yeah.
really great and very necessary. But like streamers aren't really pushing them in the way that they were. It's like it used to be you'd go to Sundance and it's like, oh, there'd be like, most of the films were getting bought and it was people were
Mm,
really excited. Oh, did you hear? It's like, well, Whiplash was there and it's like, well,
yeah.
you
Yeah.
guys, this is amazing. And then it got a huge push and, the studios were like trying to make a big deal of it.
Yeah.
And now it's like, doesn't quite happen the same way.
Yeah. Interesting. So is it gonna survive in Colorado?
I don't know. I don't know
Like
much
what's
about,
the
I don't know much about what's happening there.
yeah. It's interesting. Everything I guess comes to an end eventually somehow, but man, like
Yeah.
what's like the hope for people that want to get into like indie filmmaking? Like what's your advice for people that want to start that kind of pursuit?
Um, okay. So, I mean, it's a very complicated thing that there's not a certain route. And this goes for all filmmakers and it goes for
Yeah,
all, um, I think all artists, where there's
yeah,
not a specific route, where it's
mm,
like, okay, you want to be an accountant, you can go to this school and then you get your
right,
CPA license and you go to work for so and so, or lawyers, doctors have a very, it's like you have to do this and that, and then eventually
yeah,
you'll
yeah,
have the job, and especially if you're good at it. But with art, it's like, I've been doing this for 26 years, or I started film school 26 years ago.
yeah,
And that, the thing I've found is like everybody has a very different pathway to end up at semi-similar places.
yeah,
Either, some people go into, become more like crew members and then work their way up to, being what they want, DP or director or whatever.
yeah,
Some people go into other arts, and then move their way over there. Some directors I
yeah,
know used to be actors, and some directors I know used to
mm,
be cinematographers. And, you know, my pathway was I studied photography at school, and then I studied film and just did a ton of short films.
mm,
And that led to meeting people who were going to do they were doing a feature film, and it was super low budget, but they were very ambitious. And so, we
yeah,
did that and it was really good. And that led to another movie. And then I did commercials because it was better for me at that moment in my life. And then I came back to movies.
yeah,
But I know a lot of people. I also did AC work for a lot of
yeah,
years. I mean, sorry, I don't know how many, I like film savvy your audience is or not, but like
yeah,
AC is an assistant camera.
Yeah.
and it's like you're helping doing with the camera department, making sure
Yeah.
everything works and runs
Yeah.
accurately. And that was really good for me because I got to watch a lot of different directors and cinematographers work.
Mm.
And then, you know,
I guess from there you also kind of like see how people do their stuff, and then you kind of get inspired by the people. But then in the end, you also have your own style too. You know, it's not
yeah,
it's
I
not
mean,
it's not like you're copying. It's like I'm getting inspired by the people, but I'm gonna make my own style.
yeah, I mean, watching
Yeah.
people fail is just as
Yeah.
good as watching
Does that
somebody.
happen on set?
Yeah, I
Does it
mean,
happen more than we think?
well, it's kind of shocking, like how many people that are not very talented get great jobs.
Oh,
And
really?
like watching those people, and I'm like, oh, this is not, I
Yeah.
mean, I worked on one show and everybody on the crew knew, like the people in charge did not know what they're doing, but they were
Interesting.
running this really big show. And it's like,
Yeah. How
oh,
does that happen?
yeah.
Just
So we would just watch and go, yeah, that's not how I did it. That's not right.
really, really.
But when
Is
I'm
that
just
just
a young kid and I'm the assistant, it's not, um, it's like, what do you know, kid? And there's a lot of
yeah,
validity to that. Now that I'm older and I've like, made a career for myself, I'm like, yeah, that
yeah,
really was terrible garbage.
yeah. It's a process, isn't it? It's a
But
process from
yeah.
and it never ends. The process just keeps going.
Do you know what the one advice that I could give people that is a constant through everybody that becomes a cinematographer is
Yeah,
that it takes a lot of time, a lot of dedication, a lot of passion. Like
yeah,
there's nobody who gets there who is just kind of like lazy, doesn't care, doesn't,
yeah.
it just takes a ton of hours, a ton of calling people, meeting people, learning things on the side,
Mm,
about all the aspects of your craft.
yeah. Well, yeah, it keeps telling people like it is a craft. Like I think people have this illusion of it's like the social media world makes people think it happens like overnight, but like it is a craft. Like it is a thing people work, decades on. And they're still trying to get better. Like they're still trying to learn stuff, you know? It's kind
I
of
mean,
like that kind of mindset.
the more you learn your craft and your art, like the more you realize how little you know.
Yeah.
Like every time I do a film, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I wasn't doing this, or I didn't
Yeah, yeah.
know this thing about, making a movie. And then it just keeps happening every film. It's just like,
Yeah. Yeah, you always like learn something. You always from every
yeah,
project. That's why it's always good just to, work on projects that, A, that you believe in, and B, that can, expand your skills, and you can meet other people and just see what happens, because it's such a human experience. Making films is a very human experience. Like it's not AI, it's not any of this stuff. It's like people trying to make something, So I think
yeah,
that's where
it's fun.
AI can't do. Like it's not a human thing. It's not an emotional experience. Like it's yeah, you can put a prompt in, but what does that mean? Nothing. You know.
Yeah.
So
I think as AI becomes more integrated, it's just degrading the
yeah,
experience of art so much more.
yeah, exactly. That's why us filmmakers and people in the arts like need to kind of protect that and say, no, no, this is a craft, and it takes time, and it takes work, it takes
Yeah.
commitment, it takes all these things. Just if you want to become a lawyer or a doctor, it's the same commitment. Like you have to put in the work, right? So
Yeah, we're trying very hard to protect that or to show people that because the one of the things that I've seen with AI is that every now and again some video will come out and people say, "Wow, that looked realistic." It doesn't look very realistic to me, but
right.
I'm an
Yeah.
expert in this. But
Yeah.
either way, it's like I've never seen anything made where people go, "Wow, that really moved me. That was a really great, engaging story." Like, there was an AI with like Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise fighting
I
each other
saw
in the,
that. I saw that. Yep.
and it
Yep.
was like people were like, "Oh, it looks realistic," and I'm like, "Yeah, but did it look good? Like, did you
Yeah.
think, wow, that looks like a great film?" I'm like,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
it looked stupid. It was like
Yeah.
video
Someone just
tape.
put a prompt in. Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt fight. Let's see what happens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't engaging because I think you need people for that.
You do, especially when you're trying to make films that like, you want people to like talk about the film after it's done. Like that's the whole goal of it. It's just to kind of have some sort of like like discussion around it. So I mean, yeah, like I don't know, like AI is like it's a weird thing. So I mean, I don't think it's going to replace filmmaking at all. I don't see that happening. Like you know,
I hope
it's like
so.
why don't you just have like a robot band do like a concert then? Like why even have a band at at a concert?
Yeah.
It's the same kind of thing,
Yeah. I this is quite a controversial take maybe, but I think that I think that over the last 10, 20 years, like studios and streamers have been getting us more accustomed to generic films. Like they're
Mm,
not taking risks the way that they were
yeah,
before because they're putting all of their money into bigger projects.
yeah,
And when you have a project that's disproportionately budget wise bigger than your other projects, it creates a situation where it's like that movie cannot fail, and so
yeah,
it ends up becoming a bit generic. And at the same time, smaller films have been pushed down further. There's not a lot of budget that's in between. It's like,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
oh, there's not a lot between 5 and 30 million. There are
yeah.
films, of course, but it's like there's not as much as there used to be. And it's like,
Hmm.
oh, you could really take a lot more risks when your movie was only $5 million. And then
Yeah,
hopefully, some of them become a hit. And
right.
then, it's great for you. And the other ones may lose, but you're still taking those chances.
Yeah,
Now,
and I think that's what great filmmaking is taking chances, like just taking the risk. That's what makes something really good. Something that people remember by is like that was good, that was different, that really kind of like spoke to me, because if you're not taking risks, then like what's the point of like keeping going? It kind of gets boring after a while, no? Like it's like kind of like
yeah,
doing the same thing over and over and over again, like but we're not really kind of like trying to do something different or kind of push our skill set or
yeah,
try to do something that's kind of outside the box. And obviously money profit has a lot to do with it, but I guess that's where people have to ask themselves, like, are you in it for the money or are you in it for the art kind of thing? Like, can it be
yeah.
both? Maybe. I don't know.
I know it's an unfortunate thing about filmmaking that it's such an expensive endeavor, even at the
Yeah.
low end. Even if you're doing like $1 million film or a
Hmm.
$300,000 film, 300,000 is a
Yeah.
lot of money,
Yeah.
but not for a film, but it's a lot of money for a person or just in general. And so it's like even at that level, you're still spending a large amount of money,
Yeah.
and so it's more difficult than somebody who's a painter, a sculptor, or something like that, where they
Right.
can do those things on a much smaller
Sure.
scale
Yeah.
financially.
Yeah. 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 Well,
And
exactly.
it's always that commerce is always a big a big question when trying to create art in the film
Yeah.
world.
Yeah. No, it's always been like, there's always been that question, hasn't it? Probably for like centuries too, right? Like it's because one of those things, right? But I think that's also like separates a lot of people, and I think maybe that's why people burn out too, is they're not getting that kind of external validation that they thought that they needed to kind of keep going. Because it could be like a lonely road sometimes, making films or making whatever. It's like you're
Yes.
it's like once it's done and it's outside. Well, once it's done, and it's on the screen. It's like it's out of your hands now. This is it.
Yeah.
So what do you do? You know,
Yes. It's very true.
you know.
Um, oh, do you know what? Can I go? I'm gonna go
Hmm.
back like 40
Yeah.
minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. When you asked me about the films I was proud of, we got into
Yeah.
talking about Truth and Treason, but like I'm also really proud of like Rust because of what I
Yeah.
did
The,
for
the tragic
someone
event. Yeah.
else. Like just being able to finish that was a big accomplishment to me. I was super proud. Marcel the Shell, I'm so proud because it's such a uplifting film. Such
Hmm.
a, it just makes people so happy.
Yeah.
Um, And
especially
one
after
of
like a
them
tragic
is
event.
not out yet. I just think I'm really proud of it because it's so creative.
Yeah. So how did that come to be when you finished the work on it?
Rust.
Yeah.
Well, I was originally interviewing for the film um before any of the tragedy happened.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, it's a really great script, and I thought it was going to be really great. I know the director, and Joel's really amazing. And then, and I was competing for the film against Helena and a couple other women that I know, and it's not uncommon for it wasn't uncommon for Helena and I to be interviewing for the same film
Mhm,
because
mhm.
well, it's like we're the same age, we're the same, we have the same point in our career, etc., and similar styles, and so it's like, okay, well, it's natural that that would happen.
Yeah.
After I got the film, or sorry, after I lost the film, I didn't get the film originally. I just tried to put it out of my mind, not, not think about it because I'm like, move on to the next film.
Right.
And then when Helena died, it was just like, tragedy on my head. It just like
Yeah.
broke my brain a bit. And then, like just as I was like starting to feel like settled and feel okay, um, a friend of mine called me, a mutual friend of Helena and I. She was like, they haven't announced it yet, but they're going to finish the film. And she's like, I think you need to be the one to do it. And so
Hmm.
I like sat and thought about it for days. I wasn't working. And so I just sat in my apartment and was like, am I crazy to say yes to this? Am I crazy to
Mhm.
say no to this? Like, that would be, it's an opportunity, not, I never thought of it as an opportunity to like make something that would further my career. I thought of
Yeah.
it more as like, it's going to hurt my career that people won't. I thought people would be more angry, wouldn't want, would think that I was,
Mhm.
a turncoat or something like that. And
Mhm.
but I thought, no, like this is something that's really important to do for someone else. Like taking my skills as a cinematographer and being able to help finish her film so people can see it.
Yeah.
And I talked to her husband, I talked to her mom, and like they were all excited about the film being finished. They were like, yes, we want this done. We think it'll be great, that people can see her work. And so then I wrote a letter to Joel, the director, and I was like, told him all the reasons why I thought that why I wanted to finish it and why I should be the one to do it. And
Mhm.
um, yeah, and then he picked me, and we started that process together, and it was the second most difficult thing I've ever done in my entire life.
Yeah.
Just because like the film went smoothly in finishing it, but it was very difficult to try to finish a half finished film. A lot of the logistics were really tricky, trying to make things match.
Mhm.
A year and a half later, and all these things were complicated. But mostly it was just an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
How do you do that for someone
Yeah.
who's like every day I would go home and cry because I'm like, I'm
Mm.
feeling Helena, it's not good enough, etc. And
Mhm.
now I feel like the film is really great, and it's a real shame that not more people have seen it. And I hope that it
Yeah.
catches on and that people will see it because I think it's a very good film. I think it's a really good story, and it got painted in the media as just this like low budget, mediocre script,
Yeah.
just something that was like trashy
Right.
before anyone even knew what it was about.
Yeah.
And I'd already read the script, so I knew it was not only really solid script, like a father-son story, and also very ironically about an accidental shooting, and like
Mhm.
the consequences that come from that.
Mhm.
And so I think it's a really, yeah, I think it's a really beautiful film that I hope lots of people will. will watch it. I can't remember. I think it's on Amazon or Apple
Is it?
Plus right now.
Yeah. Is it?
I can't
So was
remember.
like, was there a time where it wasn't going to be finished? It was just not going to be finished. Was there a time?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it definitely was. It wasn't
Yeah.
for a long time.
Yeah.
There's, um, I mean, there's a lot of legal reasons around it. Like
Mhm.
one of the reasons is that like, her family or her husband was and son were suing the production, and it's like, but you can't sue a film that's millions of dollars in debt because they spent millions making the film and then have
Mhm.
nothing to show for it.
Mhm.
So they're not there's it's a negative. And so then it was like the deal was like all the money from the film, the finished film, goes to her husband and son.
Okay.
So it was like that kind of was the lawsuit. I mean, that's not why I did it. I did it because I wanted to help
Right.
Helena
Right.
and her family.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but
Tragic. Tragic event.
yeah, very tragic.
Yeah.
And last month her mom died in
Oh
Ukraine.
no. Oh no.
It was extra sad. There's just so much,
Yeah.
so much intensity around that film.
Mm.
But to me, I'm very proud of having finished it, and I'm very proud of the work. I think it looks really good, and I think
Yeah.
my main goal is to make it seamless, and I think it's seamless.
Seamless. Yeah.
I don't know of anybody who's watched it and was like, it really shows. I think nobody can tell
No.
which is
Yeah.
his work, and that was my goal. Make it a
Yeah.
Helena film,
Well,
and
good. Yeah. You
not make
definitely honored. Yeah. You definitely honored her legacy. So, and that was the whole point, right?
hopefully.
Yeah. No, it's good. You mentioned that this was like Rust was the second hardest thing that you've done. So, what was the first?
um Well, I don't know if you know this, but I'm transsexual.
Yeah.
And like coming out and yeah, going through transition and everything that affected with my life, like ended up meaning I got divorced, and that was all super awful and
Mhm.
terrible, and um, turned out for the best, or well, it was necessary.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was definitely the most difficult thing in my life.
Yeah. When was that? What like when did you do that transition?
I came out in 2010.
Okay.
Um, and then it was like yeah, it was a long process. It was like another like 7 years of like slowly transitioning and seeing if
Hmm.
if my ex and I could stay together, and
Hmm.
we found it wasn't possible. And
Yeah.
um yeah. So um and now we'll see. Maybe that won't be the most difficult. There's antagonism and hatred towards trans people is becoming very intense in the United States,
Yeah.
but kind of around the world. Like people have
Yeah.
realized we're a very easy scapegoat because
Mhm.
hardly anybody knows us. They don't know who we are, why we do this, and
Yeah.
becomes very easy to make people fearful of us
Mm.
and think that we are a huge problem, that we're causing all these problems in their life,
It's
even though
crazy. It's
not.
crazy.
But really, we're just a distraction. Like they'd rather yell and argue about a tiny percentage of people that cause no harm to anyone rather than talk about the bigger
Yeah.
problems.
Well, a lot of people are ignorant, right? I
Yeah.
think people need to be educated these days on all kinds of things. Like, you
Yeah,
know,
and it's very difficult. It's very difficult as trans people to we have no power. We have no real strong voice to reach millions of
yeah.
people the way that the people who are fear mongering against us do. Um,
Yeah.
and it's a very complicated subject, and nobody in today's world is willing to have a complicated, nuanced conversation.
Yeah.
And so it's very easy to be swayed by the people who are like, these people are evil. They're killing your children. They want to ruin your life. They're ruining
Mhm.
society.
Mhm.
And that becomes a much easier message for people who know nothing about us to accept.
Yeah. Yeah. People are afraid of what they don't know, you know? They don't
Yeah,
they're afraid of what they don't know. It's a fear thing almost. So people need to be educated on, it's crazy. It's crazy that we're having that kind of like mindset like in like 2026, Like
I know. Yeah. I know it's very, I mean, I think most trans people, definitely myself, like have studied the history of either, fighting for civil rights, how did other people do it, what happened, but
yeah.
also genocides and how that happens, how people get marginalized. But
Mhm.
it's a very similar playbook to the way that Black people were treated, 80
Mhm.
years ago, and very
Mhm.
similar to the way that gay men were treated, 40 years ago. And it's
Yeah.
it's like this the same way they take, like, Jews are a small minority, so we can concoct a something about them that says they're evil and they're ruining your life, even though they're a small percentage of the
Yeah.
population. And it's very easy because people don't know them.
Yeah.
It's never a population that's 70% of
Yeah.
the country that is demonized, because
Mhm.
it's very easy. Everyone knows that 70%, and they go, well, yeah, it's nuanced, and
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
people know. But when you're less than 1% of the population,
Right.
it's very difficult. And especially a lot of people, trans people, are very scared to let people know that they're trans. So it's like, on
Mhm.
top of us not having any power and being a small percentage of the population, we're also like quite fearful. We often are trying to hide, like trying to not,
Mhm.
be super open. I know I
Mhm.
do. I have to be careful in certain situations because it's
Yeah.
dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's wild that we're having that discussion in these kinds of times. I mean, there's so many bigger problems in the world, So I mean, it's just I mean, people have to be again educated on a whole host of issues. But
Yeah.
you know, would you ever
But
make like a film about it? Like, would you ever make like a documentary about it?
um, yeah, I would. Trying to think. I made one documentary that's we were filming like 7 years ago, and it was about my friend Ava and I. And it started out that I was just filming with the director about her and about
Mm,
being a trans woman and a cinematographer. And then the director, like after a day or two of filming, she was like, I think that the more interesting thing is you guys being friends and like having a friendship. Yeah, that's it
oh,
there.
yeah.
Um, and so it ended up being that she and I both like kind of filmed each other.
Oh, cool.
And it was a bit of like, it's about being trans, but mostly about friendship, and and being a small minority of a group, because not only, I mean, women are a very small percentage of the population, or of cinematographers. Sorry. It's
Hmm.
like there's
Hmm.
very few women cinematographers, especially when we made
Hmm.
that film. It was very few of us.
Hmm.
As far as Ava and I knew, we were the only trans women that were cinematographers. So it was
Hmm.
like this very small club of like, it's like, okay, I know you, you know me, and we do this, peculiar thing of being cinematographer.
Hmm.
And yeah, became fast friends. So, I mean,
Huh.
in a way, it's not really to me, it's better. I think that there are a lot of films, and a lot of good films, that are about like a broader political spectrum, and it takes it on
Yeah.
head on. It's like, oh, this is happening in governments and this needs to stop, and here's this societal problem. But what we wanted to do with that film was just show like just normal people, like cinematography
Hmm.
is way more important to us than being trans. And
Yeah.
our friendship is just like anybody else's friendship. It just, we bonded over a certain life experience. And um yeah, we just wanted to show people a little bit of a slice, like trans
Yeah.
women are just the same. We're not out to, hurt you. We just want to
Mhm.
be ourselves and be left alone and have our
Yeah.
friends.
Everyday people. Everyday
Yeah.
people. Yeah. Interesting. No, it's good. I mean, what's I mean, you mentioned that there's, less women in cinematography. Like what's your message for the women and like in the field?
That we just have to keep on fighting for it.
Yeah.
It's it really sucks that people don't trust us more. I think that misogyny is more apparent in the field of
Mm,
cinematographers
mm.
than in any of the other fields. Like, I mean, just by the numbers, like it's, I think at the most we did was like 4%. That was a few years ago. And now it's
Oh,
down
really?
like 3% or something of
Really?
films made by women cinematographers.
Wow.
And I
That
still
low?
hear heinous things come out of people's mouths at the top, and they don't mean it, or they
Yeah.
don't mean to be heinous. They're not being jerks. They're just saying things that are extremely misogynistic, but
Wow.
they're not aware of it. People saying, oh, well, I don't know if
Mm.
we can let two women do a film together. Like, we need a man in there somewhere. And you're like, that's kind of,
Whoa.
and I think it's some
Whoa.
of it is how people see the role of cinematographer, that they
Yeah.
see they see us more as like running a department rather
Yeah.
than being a creative role, which I think
Mm.
is terrible. I mean, there is that aspect of it. Like you have to, you're running a crew of, 8 to 20 people, and and then working with all the other departments, and you're keeping, and with the AD, it's like you're keeping the train running on schedule.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I think that there's a ton of misogyny there when people look at women and say, well, yeah, I think that we need a man so he can just run everything and make sure everything gets done on time. And it's really
Whoa.
sad.
Man, jeez. Yeah, that is
And it's
sad.
especially bizarre considering it's like a lot of like what women are stereotypically supposed to be good at, multitasking, working with a lot
Mm.
of different people and being able to, keep everybody calm and
Yeah.
working hard.
Right.
And it's like these are all things that people think of women as doing well,
Yeah.
but yet they're not trusting us. It's a
Crazy. That's crazy. I didn't know it was so low in terms of like
Yeah,
percentage. That's
they
so
do.
low.
I mean, that number, from what I understand, it's like they take like the top 500 budgeted films for the year and then
Yeah.
count how many of those
Right.
DPs are women. And it's, um, I mean, I see
Wow.
it changing. I see that, like, from when I was young, there are a ton more women cinematographers. Like, there were hardly any when I first started
Yeah.
in film. Now there are a lot more, but it's kept at a much lower level.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
there are some, but I mean, it made me so happy to see Autumn win the Oscar,
Right. Yeah.
like, even more than
Great.
I thought. Like, I was just like,
Yeah.
I was like, this would be so great if she wins. That would be great. And she won. And it was like, I was just like so emotional about it because it was
Yeah.
a little bit of hope in this really,
Yeah.
like, the world that's getting increasingly darker. And it was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's really great that it actually happened.
And that was the
And
first time a woman won, right? Was that the first
yeah.
time a woman won cinematography? I couldn't believe that either. Like, whoa, okay.
Oh, I know, it's shocking.
I couldn't believe
Yeah,
that.
I
So,
know. She was only the 4th woman to ever be nominated for cinematography,
wow.
and then, yeah, the first to win.
No, man.
I thought, but I mean, she's an incredible woman, and the film is really incredible, and the
Yeah.
cinematography is, fantastic. So,
Yeah.
really happy that she won.
Yeah. There's hope. There's hope. There's still hope. Gotta keep the faith,
Yeah.
The true power of an artist. Always stay positive.
Yeah.
Always stay positive.
Yeah. Or at least
That's
stay
what keeps
optimistic.
or optimistic, yeah. However you look at it. But yeah, no, it's good. Well, we're up against the hour, so I just want to say thanks again for coming on. Hopefully you enjoyed it.
Thank you. Yeah, it was lovely
Yeah.
to talk to you.
Yeah. One last question. And you've been at this for like 25 years. What are you still trying to get like better at these days?
Um, I'm always trying to improve on my relationship with the director. you know, as far as like personal, but how do I help a director the most? How do I get into their head and understand what they want, you know, because I'm a bit of an interpreter as a cinematographer. You know, it's like director may tell you things in different forms, either verbally, or they may show you images of photographs, paintings, other movies, talk about plays, talk about feelings. I want the scene to feel this way, that way. And how do you interpret that visually through camera movement and lighting and colors and lenses? And, you know, it's a complicated thing because it doesn't have a finite answer. And I really want to understand that more. That's always my goal in a film. It's like, how do I make the same film as everyone else around me? How do I make the same film the director's trying to make? And just so much. I mean, there's so much about everything I don't know. Lenses and photochemicals and you know, colors interact with each other, and you know what emotional feelings do different colors give to an audience, you know, and it's
well,
it's
good to hear.
endless.
It's good to hear for someone that's been at it for, you know, for 20 plus years. Like, it just goes to show you, like, it just never ends. Like, you're always in pursuit of something, you know?
Do you know the game Othello?
Yeah.
I used to play it when I was a kid, and it was their slogan was "A minute to learn, a lifetime to master." And I think about that with filmmaking, and specifically cinematography. It's like it doesn't take that much to learn. I mean, anybody who picks up an iPhone and can push the video button can technically be doing cinematography. But to learn how to make it have an impact on an audience and be invisible and, you know, convey emotions that words can't do, is like where it takes a lifetime to get there. You know, you just have to keep doing it.
Exactly. That's why it's a craft. That's why it's not just a simple thing you press on your phone and upload to TikTok and all of a sudden you're a cinematographer. It's like, no, I don't think so.
And it's the kind of thing you can't just tell AI to make something impactful.
Well, exactly right.
I hope so. We'll reconvene this in 20 years and see how that
exactly.
how it turns out.
Exactly. Awesome. Bianca, thanks again for coming on. Love to have you back on at some other point. Maybe after you win an Oscar, who knows? And
that goes.
Everyone, thanks for watching, listening. You go check out Bianca's work. Links are in the description of this podcast, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.